Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Golden Speakers Toastmasters Club. My name is Rick Starr. I'm the president of this club, and I'd like to welcome you all. I'd like to especially welcome, we have 2 or 3 guests. Don't mean to put you on the spot, but I will. Dan, what brought you here to Toastmasters?
Dave.
Dave, I'm sorry, Dave.
I just came to support Fraser and Art.
Good, good. Your second time here.
Yeah, I was coming back from the gym and I saw Marko.
Ah.
Yeah.
Spur of the moment. Good, we're glad you're here. And your name?
My name is Angela.
Angela?
Somebody told me about Toastmasters. I'm planning to become a gym teacher, and they told me that I can learn more
Great.
about how to speak in public and to improve my actions.
Good. Well, welcome all of you. We're glad you're here. One reminder, if you have a cell phone, please turn it off. We don't want
Thank you for that.
we don't want you to disturb the concentration of our speakers. And now I'd like to introduce the Toastmaster. We had different roles during the meeting. And the Toastmaster, even though everyone is a Toastmaster here, the Toastmaster for the meeting is kind of the master of ceremonies and guides the meeting along. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce myself as Toastmaster. Thank you, thank you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the roles. In Toastmasters we have various roles, and you'll hear what they are. And I'd like to introduce Susanna McCann, our timer. Susanna.
The role of the timer is to track the times that people take giving their talks. And there are specific time limits. Part of learning to give effective speeches is speaking within the time allotted. And so at the least amount of time allotted, I will turn on a green light. There we go. And then, when you're about halfway through the allotted time, we get an orange light. And then, when you've reached the end of the allotted time, there's a red light, and you have 30 seconds to wrap it up and still be eligible for having succeeded in that time frame. And just easily having our attention on this and having this helps.
And what are the times of the different speeches?
For most of the prepared speeches, the green light comes on at 5 minutes, the yellow light at 6 minutes, and the red light at 7 minutes. For evaluations, the times are 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 3.5, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and 3 minutes. And for the impromptu speeches called table topics, the times are also 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce our next role player, the odd counter, also Susanna McCann. She'll be a busy lady tonight.
Yes. The role of the odd counter is to keep track of filler words that people sometimes include in their talking. People might say, I think it's because of this, they have little ahs, like, so, but, and maybe false starts. These kinds of words actually detract, and just having in mind that they're being counted helps us easily in the back of our minds cut down on our usage of those words.
Thank you. Will is our general evaluator. We'll hear from him later. I'd just like to read the mission of this Toastmasters Club. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. We have several ways we learn to develop our communication skills, one of which is delivering prepared speeches. Prepared speeches are taken from a manual, and each one of them, there are certain objectives that you try to accomplish, certain speaking objectives that you try to accomplish in that project. After you give your speech, you'll have an evaluator who will give his opinion on how you did. So now I'd like to introduce our first evaluator, Emery Styron, who will introduce Fraser Jones.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rick, and good evening, guests, viewers at home, and fellow Toastmasters. Fraser is one of the newer members of our club. Gave his icebreaker, week before last? And he's now ready for Project 2 in the Competent Communicator Manual, Organize Your Speech. Now, his objectives in this speech are to select an appropriate outline to allow listeners to easily follow and understand his speech, to make his message clear with supporting material directly contributing to that message. He needs to use appropriate transitions when moving from one idea to another, and to have a strong opening and conclusion. His speech time is 5 to 7 minutes. The title of Fraser's speech is The Surprising Effects of Extracurricular Activities. He'll be talking about how extracurricular activities not only contribute to academic success, but have some other surprising benefits. And he'll be making occasional reference to Dominica, the nature island of the Caribbean where he grew up. Please welcome Fraser.
Excuse me just a minute, Fraser, I'm sorry you've got a little glitch. Okay, I apologize.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow members, guests, and visitors and viewers at home. Studies have shown that participating in extracurricular activities enhances the chances of being successful academically. I will be showing that in addition to that, extracurricular activities actually affect you throughout your lifetime. In about 2001, I met Charlie, a fellow Dominican in Iowa City. He told me that if it wasn't for the electronics club I had started in his high school, that was in about 1975-76 school year, he would not be the IT professional he was today. I was a little intrigued. His fellow classmate Peter had invited him to the club. And he built a radio and carried it home. His mother was flabbergasted. said, "You built a radio and it's working? Boy, you can do something. I'm going to contact my relatives in the US to make sure that you can go there to do your further studies." It wasn't the fact that Jefferson was successful academically that really impressed me. To me, that was normal. Other people in that group had been successful academically. What really impressed me was the effect on his mother. You see, parents are the number one influence on their kids. And anything that can positively affect that is worth encouraging. And extracurricular activities does exactly that. A few weeks ago, 60 Minutes had a segment on the introduction of chess in a backwater town in Mississippi. The kids did not know anything about chess. They never heard about it before. But they excelled. They didn't only excel at it, winning championships, but academically, the whole outlook had changed, and they were talking about going to college, right? And the parents had also changed their outlook. Visualizing their kids with successful careers and jobs after they finish college. Does the effect of extracurricular activities stop when you get a job? No, you just have to look at the activities, sports, and other activities. These people that took extracurricular activities end up being volunteers, active in the community. Some of them form clubs, and some of them, that habit of doing something extra continues, and they are involved in a lot. Take my friend, my colleague Peter. He worked, he's an IT professional and worked in a telecom company. He started a computer club at the Sixth Form College, that's pre-university. They computerized several high schools, build the labs, several computerized schools, and later on, Peter decided he wanted to contribute back to the library because he was an avid reader. So he installed complete digital library information system. Hardware, software, it cost the government nothing, it just cost Peter his time. So, extracurricular activities don't just only affect the students academically, but it affects the parents. Later in life, this habit of doing extra, the continuing through the work life, through retirement. So, I would say extracurricular activity enables individuals to put out their best and don't settle for less. To throughout their lifetime. Thank you.
Thank you, Fraser. Madam Timer, could you give us 2 minutes, please? Thank you. We have a slight change to our schedule. The next speaker is Marko Yannick, and here to introduce Marko, Dennis Gomez. Dennis?
Marko was born in Belgrade, Serbia in 1990, and in high school he finished a diploma in ecology. After that he went to Forestry University with bachelor's degree in environmental engineering. He moved to the U.S. with his family in 2012, and in July stayed for 3 months, went back to Serbia to finish his last year of college, and came back to the U.S. in November 2013. Marko is passionate about growth, living life to the fullest potential, exploring, martial arts, education, helping people, and public speaking. Let's take a look at the objectives today. This will be for research your topic. The objectives of the speech will be to collect information about his topic from numerous sources, carefully support your points and opinions with specific facts, examples, and illustrations gathered through research. Yep. Let's introduce Marko Yannick.
Good evening, everyone. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. Today I would like to talk about a gift. Greatest gift we all have. I will relate to my personal story and how I forget on that gift. The gift didn't forget on me. It was 18th of April, Tuesday night. It was happening here at the Hy-Vee location. I was excited to come here and be participant of this wonderful group. When I came in, all excited, I'm gonna give a table talk because I was a member at that time. I was excited I'm gonna deliver a great speech. Enthusiastic about it. Everybody gonna like it. It's gonna be wonderful. But it wasn't that so great. I came out, I decided I raised my hand as soon as I came here. I have my opportunity. Came out, I wasn't really satisfied how it went. Came to the seat and people say it was good, but I knew in my heart it wasn't not even close to good. Overall meeting was great, I really enjoyed it. I learned my lesson and tried to continue it with joy and fulfillment. Coming outside, walking outside of the Hy-Vee, all enthusiastic, I got to see my car. And the lights were facing on my car, bright lights. Somebody was facing the bright lights on my car, and I was wondering what's going on. Why is somebody facing the bright lights on my car? And I've been walking closer and closer. Then I saw it wasn't somebody else's lights, it was my lights on. And that got me confused because I know I couldn't, every time I turn the car off and I come out, if I leave the lights on, the car will start beeping. So this is impossible to happen. I clearly remember how it all went. I know I was enthusiastic, all happy to come here. And I'm coming closer and closer. I'm approaching my car, and then I saw my car is running. My car was on. So I'm all confused. What is going on? And I was thoughts coming through my mind. This is impossible. I could ever do this. I never did this into my life. I think somebody tried to steal my car and just leave it, the lights on and running. Why would somebody do that? Then it came to my mind. But that wasn't the worst thing. The worst thing, I came to my car and I started slowly looking for my keys. I said, it must have been in my pocket. I always have them here. And tried to put my hand into the pocket to pull out the keys. And I realized the keys are not in my pocket. Coming closer, everybody's coming out, all happy, saying bye, Marko, saying bye to everyone. And I start panicking. I realized I locked the car with the car keys inside, the car running on. And I have little fuel left inside. The car has been running for 2 hours, and I don't have idea what I'm going to do. I was already having panic thoughts in my head where I'm going to break the glass, and I was imagining, can I do it with my hand or what I'm going to do? I couldn't remember anything what I'm going to do. Because earlier that day I was looking for a backup key that I knew I had, but for some reason I couldn't find it. So I gave up on that idea immediately. So I was thinking what I'm going to do, and I know it was impossible for me to open the door and pull out the notch because it was very difficult to do something like that. So I called my father, panicking. I always call my father if it's something that about the car or something that I know he's very good at it. Called my father, and immediately I started talking to him, and I calmed down for a second and realized, okay, I'm not going to break the window. I'm not paying for any backup windows or any repairs on the cars. I'm going to go home and try to find the key. But the trick is, the key of my room and the building is in the car as well. And it was late at night. I had to call somebody to open for me. Security or RD. So everybody was leaving. The ladies were coming out. They were happy waving at me. I was like acting cool, like on my phone and waving happy. And I was panicking in my head what I'm going to do. And then suddenly I saw a friend asking for a favor to drive me home, to drive me to my building, to go into a room and try to find the key. And that's what he did. He drove me. I knock on my RD window. He didn't answer. I saw the lights. Somehow I get into the building. Somebody was coming out. I start knocking on his door. He coming out all angry, pissed off on me. He was sleeping. I wake him up. And I apologized to him. I said, very sorry. I explained to him the situation, what's going on. And he said, I don't do this. And said, please, I need your help. And he said, okay. At that moment, I say, thank you so much. And then I calm down. I came to myself. I said, okay, it doesn't matter. I'm going to find a solution no matter what. Even if I don't find the key, I'm going to find the solution. And I calmed down. I came back to myself. Came into my room, opened the room. I remember immediately where the key is. Check that place and pull out the key. Go back, turn the car on, and sit in the car and ask myself, what just happened? What just happened? I didn't have idea. Even today, right now, this moment, I don't have idea what happened. I don't have idea where was I. There was a scientific research that we function only on 5% of our conscious mind. 5% on average. That means 95% of the time, 90%, 99.9% of people. It means that we are not using the greatest gift we have, and that is the present moment. When somebody gives you a present, was it a Santa Claus, your mother, father, no matter who it is, what kind of experience, emotions does it bring out from you? May I ask you, if you would like somebody to participate. Somebody gives you the present, and it's a surprise. You know, it's positive, it's a birthday gift or a New Year, Christmas. Somebody would like to give me an answer. What does it mean when somebody gives you a present? Nobody? No?
Appreciation.
Appreciation. Is it something like kindness, compassion? Yeah, it's generosity. Yes. Generally, it's a good feeling. In myself as well. And what if I tell you that somebody giving you a present every moment of your life? And how we become so ignorant? How did I was ignorant? I didn't use it. I wasn't aware of what I was doing. and ask myself, and you know what? I'm not better than anyone else, and I know nobody's better than me. But I'm doing my best to evolve every moment and learn from my mistakes and learn from somebody else's mistakes if I can, and be better than I am. I'm here to share with you, to say that never forget what is the greatest gift you ever had. Because the life is the greatest gift we all have, and the moment is actually where we can see. The present moment is where we can see and appreciate. So thank you so much.
Madam Timer, could you give us 2 minutes, please? Thank you. Madam Timer, could you tell us, please, which speakers qualified?
Yes. Fraser qualified and Marko qualified.
Okay, thank you. And now if you'll look near on your chair, you'll see a ballot with 3 sections. You can tear off the section for best speaker and vote for who you felt gave the best speech. Welcome back. I mentioned before there are several ways we improve our speaking skills, one of which is giving prepared speeches, and the other is having our speech evaluated by one of our fellow Toastmasters. And to introduce that section of the program, I'd like to introduce Art Atkinson, who will be our general evaluator.
Good evening, Toastmasters. I always find it difficult to really get a complete evaluation written in 2 minutes. So the next section is when we do an evaluation, which is not a criticism, but it's an opportunity for one member to share his observations about how well the speech matched the objectives that were put forward in the manual for that particular speech. And first we'll have Emery give his evaluation of Fraser's talk. So Emery Starner, would you please?
Thank you, Art. Good evening again, fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home, and especially Fraser. Congratulations on a fine second speech. I think you hit most of the objectives, and I want to run through the rating system real quickly, and then I will go back and make some comments. Susanna, that red light is really intimidating me. Okay, thank you. Speech value, I rated you high on that. We all deal with the extracurricular activities that we experienced when we were younger in school, and if we're parents, we see those with our children, and sometimes we're so busy it's good to be with them. We wonder about them, but it's good to have that value reinforced. Preparation, obviously you did work hard to prepare that. Organization, I rated you high on that. Very clear organizational structure. Your opening, not so much. I'll have another comment on that in a moment. Body, it did flow smoothly. Conclusion, very effective. Transitions, I didn't feel like that was your most shining star. Go back and go through some things about your speech, Fraser. You greeted the audience, which is good, especially for a beginning speaker. We sometimes forget to do that. Very important. But getting to the opening, I'm a writer, and I feel like what you did was what we would call you buried the lead. That is, you opened with a kind of bland statement that extracurricular activities have surprising benefits. And said studies show that, but you didn't say what those studies were. And then, your first point, you talked about your fellow Dominican Charlie and what a huge impact that had on his life. That, to me, was your opening. That was dramatic. That was grabbing. So think about that in the future. Use something that really wows your audience and gets them involved. That's one thing you could have done to make your speech more effective. Another is more purposeful stage movement. Talk about Charlie. You talk about 60 Minutes. You talk about your colleagues. And use the stage for a different section of your talk. And it just is smoother. What did I like about the presentation? You had specific cases that you cited from your own knowledge, made it very credible, a good organization. You had a forceful close that restated your main point. So all overall, very good speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Emery. Now, if we could have Dennis come forward with his evaluation.
Before I get to evaluation, I'd like to apologize to everybody for being a little bit late today, and I understand I should be using a couple more facts about Yannick that were really interesting, I thought, with how passion is to grow mentally, spiritually, personally, and physically, to evolve and to give and serve as many people as possible. Relating to that, though, is the evaluation, and I think his speech did an excellent job at covering that. Fellow Toastmasters, viewers at home, honored guests, and most importantly, Yannick. You guys did a fantastic job today, Yannick. Or do you pronounce it Yannick or Yannick? Yannick? Okay, Marko Yannick. Very well. In his speech, I think getting to the main point at the end was very well constructed. I would say the attention-getting device at the beginning, using a long story like that, was a really good way of getting us all captivated. Let's go over the main objectives right now. How well did the speaker's topic apply to the audience? I would say that overall, the topic definitely applied to the audience. Everybody could probably be more in the present moment. I can myself, especially when I sneak in here a little bit late and I'm going around with my notes and everything. I'm sure all of us can think about something today that we did that we could have been more in the present moment, to enjoy the present, to perform better as well, overall. Was the topic well researched? Yes. I think the fact about the 5% of the mind only being used consciously was very well researched. That was a very good point to make to support your speech. One thing I would say, however, I would say use more topics in general. If you can use a little bit more supporting points that you researched, that's something that I know could improve. How well did the speaker support his or her main points? I would say that was an excellent strength in your speech today. You definitely got supporting your main point about you need to be in the present moment, especially when you're in a situation like that where you're like wondering, oh, my car, is it like stolen? What's going on? And I thought that was well done. By the story especially. Was the support material appropriate for the point made? I would say partially. At the beginning it was hard to tell, for me at least, but the way that you made it a longer story, and then once you got the story finished, then you got to the main point. And then the last, I'd say 2 to 3 minutes were really well done at supporting your main points And then I fully understood, okay, this is what he's talking about. Did the speaker vary types of support material? Yes. Both personally and then using the research fact also about how much we're in the present moment and more that how much of our brain we're actually consciously using. How clear was the speaker's purpose? I would say very similar to the support material appropriate for the points made. It was at first, at the beginning I wasn't sure, and then after, it was excellent. Was the speech effectively organized? Yes. It had it was well flowing. Did the speaker take advantage of body language and vocal variety? Yes. Good sense of humor. What could the speaker have done differently to improve the speech? Just the points I've gone over, but otherwise it was an excellent speech. I'll try to finish before I get kicked out. What did you like about the speech? I would say the sense of humor was excellent. The confidence was amazing. Well done, Marko. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Now we have a somewhat longer than planned opportunity for table topics or impromptu speeches. And here to run that section of our meeting is table topic mistress Andal Krishna.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests, and viewers at home. The theme for tonight is Earth Day, and I really appreciate our program organizer for bringing a thought-provoking theme for tonight. Your improv speech would be for 1 to 2 minutes, and you will have 30 seconds to think or prepare before you start to speak, and then you have 30 seconds after 2 minutes to conclude your speech. I have some questions related to the theme, and I would like to have a volunteer come and give the first opening here. Do we have a volunteer? Yes, that's it. If you were a building, what type of building would you want to be?
What I want to be.
Good evening, guests, fellow Toastmasters, and viewers at home. If I were building, what type of building would I want to be? Well, easy. I would want to be a bank because I'd be full of money. I mean, 'cause right now I feel like a dilapidated building. It's not even kind of paid off, probably in foreclosure. And it's really tough sometimes, you know, but yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's such a spiritual community, but there are a lot of poor people here, and in that way you do need to meditate. When you're broke, you don't have anything else to do. You can't afford to do anything, so instead of like doing drugs or something, you can meditate. Feel good about yourself. So I just really need some money right now. So if I could just meditate myself into a bank, I'd be happy. Thank you.
I never thought the topic would go to a different direction, but it was awesome. You brought in more thought-provoking ideas, to me at least. Let's have our second volunteer. Do we have a second? Marko. If you were a bird, what kind of feed would you prefer?
What kind of?
If you were a bird,
Okay.
what kind of feed would you prefer?
Feed.
Feed or food?
Food. No, it's kind of a tricky question. I always imagine myself as an eagle. I don't know, so gracious. But I want to be vegetarian eagle.
Not like that.
I don't know. I really enjoy seeing eagles cruising around the sky. I like to take walks and seeing them, and I'm imagining how wonderful it is to cruise the sky. But when I see them flying down to catch the rabbit, actually I was passing one time with a car and then I saw the rabbit grabbed by the eagle. I stopped by the next to the street. I stopped the car next to the road, and I just came out of the car, came closer to see it. I never saw anything like that in my life. But the eagle, as soon as he saw me, he just flew away. Yeah, I would choose to be a vegetarian eagle. I don't even know that many other birds. At least not English. So there is food. And then I wouldn't like to even eat the insects. It just maybe the grass or some flowers or something. Just like that. So that's it. I have nothing else to say.
Thank you, Marko. I'm going to look for vegetarian eagle birds now. Yes, we have a volunteer. Emily, sorry. Do you recycle things? Do you recycle things? What and why?
Third time up here. Fellow Toastmasters, guests, viewers at home. Yes, I recycle quite a bit. Not as much as I think I should sometimes, but quite a bit. Plastics, we have City Carton in Mount Pleasant that takes plastics 1 through 6, and I push the envelope a little bit there and take some things I don't know if they'll keep or not, which is probably not the right thing to do because that costs them a lot of money to sort that out and discard the things they can't use. We do that, tin cans, plastic bags, cardboard, they even take cereal boxes and other lightweight boxes. We've cut down our newspapers tremendously, which I'm a lifelong newspaper man. It's been a hard transition for me, but we recycle newspapers and magazines and white paper. For a while, I even recycled toilet paper rolls, but it just became a little too tedious. And my wife has less patience than me, and she's probably right. We don't tend to recycle peanut butter, plastic peanut butter jars. The time you got to spend getting those clean in the water, it's just not worth it. Why? I just feel like it's the right thing to do. I would love to see the whole commercial world really work at cutting down packaging. I think it's just such a terrible waste of resources. So that's my way to fight against it. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. In fact, we are lucky here in Fairfield. Some of the stores recycle bags and cages, so it's good. So, can we have a volunteer from guests? Wonderful. Zoe, your question is, if you were a seed, where would you want to grow?
Good evening, fellow guests and viewers at home. So if I were a seed, I'd like to grow along the beach. I grew up in a city not close to the ocean, so even sometimes I spend a holiday along the ocean with my family, but I always wish I grew up there. So if I were a seed next lifetime, I prefer to realize my dream to grow up along the ocean and listen to the ocean wave every day, and also like get enough moisture out of the soil instead of in a lot of other places, maybe try to absorb water or soil as much as I can, but I couldn't. And also I think with that environment, I can grow up ideally and then get a lot of nourishment and just blossom as much as I can. So that's my dream, to grow up along the ocean as a seed. Thank you.
Thank you, Zoe. Can we have another volunteer from guest?
All right. Yes.
If you were a son, would you want to rest?
If I was the son? No. Hello, Toastmasters, guests, and people at home. Absolutely not. If I was the son, I would spend all of my time working. I would work in overtime. My job, my purpose is black hole, guys, because I want it all, okay? I want to get down to a singularity so I can bring you all down to a singularity with me. Why? Because we all need to be together. We all need to share what we have. As Marko said tonight, and it struck me actually, we do not live with purpose. We spend most of our time on autopilot, auto drive. It's unfair to our friends, our family, the people who care about us when we walk past them. Oh, Dad, can you help me with this? Or son, where you been? I notice myself doing it more and more every day. I'm so busy with objectives, the next thing to achieve, the next little win. I don't spend enough time with my family. So I want to bring them in with me. I want to make myself a singularity, and I want to draw everybody into this sun. I want my kids to say, that's my dad, and I'm so proud of him. Look how big he's gotten. I mean, light can't even get away. And I'm getting there. Now, granted, most of this is barbecue, and Art and Sue are helping me bring that down. But as far as my personality, well, you've met me. I have no shame. My poor mother, she never got a break. By the time my brother was born, there was nothing left. She had no energy. He got to run wild, and now it's my fault he's the way he is. So yeah, if I was the son, I would spend all of my time getting bigger and bringing people together. Dave.
Do you want to volunteer? Question. Okay. What does sustainable living mean to you?
My name is Toastmaster.
Take
I forgot.
a
The
little bit of time.
You can take 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's okay. If I, what does it mean sustainable living to me?
Yeah, you can think, organize, and then start.
Dear, I forgot the introduction.
Oh, Toastmasters.
Toastmasters, guests, and
Viewers at home.
viewers at home. Yeah. I am passionate actually about sustainable living. Each time I come to the building in MEM campus, and I see the future, and I see the planet growing and be nourished, and I know that our planet Earth is a living being. It's our mother, and we need to respect it, and we need to nourish, and we need to praise it like the God, which which is our home. So we have actually two homes. One home spiritually, and then we have our home here on the material plane. So I think sustainable living, whoever wants to learn this subject, it is a very great help for the future of mankind and a good example for humanity. Thank you very much.
Angela, thank you, Angela. Can we hear from our timer which speaker qualifies for the table topic?
Yes, Santoria, Marko, Emery, Zoe, David, and
Angela.
Angela, all qualified.
Please take a moment to fill out on the slip who is the best speaker.
So we have an additional evaluator, and that's Will Burns, who will evaluate the table topic speakers who just spoke. You have 5 people to evaluate. Let's give him 3 to 4 minutes for the 5 people he's evaluating.
Thank you so much, Art. My favorite part of the meeting is table topics. My second favorite part is actually evaluating table topics. Just love the off the cuff. I'm never sure what I'm gonna get doing this. And I'm never sure when Santoria approaches what I'm gonna get either. There's always a sense of excitement, a sense that I'm gonna be laughing about something, but I have no idea where she's gonna take it. And that was definitely the case tonight. Santoria lightened my spirit, and she didn't cost me anything to do it. So, thank you, Santoria. I have no suggestions for you, but I work harder to find something. Marko, the eagle, the vegetarian eagle. I get this sense from Marko that he could be the lone man on the earth believing something, and he would still fight for that, to bring out the best and to fight for what he believes to be right. And I believe that if anybody was going to be a vegetarian eagle, it would be Marko. My one suggestion for you, Marko, would be to just take 30 seconds at the start, just to focus on your closing. So you think about, okay, what's one thing I can say to just tie all this up? And then you can do whatever you want until that light comes on, and then boom, you can hit it with the close, and it's beautiful. Emery, even after all this time, still has the ability to surprise me here on stage. He gave a very precise description of what he recycles, so much so that I felt bad that I could do a better job recycling.
That was my goal, to make people feel guilty.
Mission accomplished. My suggestion for you would be to tap into some of that natural storytelling that you have. Maybe tell about your experiences recycling and trials and tribulations there. Zoe, you spoke about being a seed on the beach. And I got the very real sense that despite this being the question you were given, that your experiences by the ocean really shaped lot of your memories of that time. And for you, my only suggestion is I would have loved to have heard more about a time in particular that you were by the ocean and your experience there. I think it would have been really nice. But thank you so much for sharing, and I hope that you find your way back to the sea soon. David, a man working overtime, working to bring that black hole into fruition, something that may be scary to some of us, but really it's all about sharing. It's all about bringing us closer together. And if I want to go into a black hole, I want to go in there together. I want to go off on this tangent about the paradox of time on black holes, but I'm not going to right now. Later, yeah, definitely. But I love how David started huge about the universe and about how basically his influence in that, and then really went small into this feeling of family and the connection there. And just a great close. So no suggestion for you, David. But I definitely, please come back sometime and speak again if you're so inclined. And finally, Angela. I liked, Angela, how you were ready to go. You didn't even want 30 seconds. You wanted to, and you know what? I dig that. I've had to train myself to kind of take the 30 seconds myself when I'm up here. But I loved how you were on a mission to kind of bring these two homes together. And I mean, what's better than having one home but having two homes? Great job there. Thank you all.
Thanks, Will. Now, if our timer, Susanna, could divide her attention from counting to timing and let us know which of our evaluators qualified so that we can vote for evaluators. That would include
Emily, Dennis, and Will.
So you should have one piece of your ballot left on which you could vote for one of the qualifying evaluators. That would be Dennis, Will, or who's the third qualifying? Emery. Okay. We're back. Now for a few brief comments from me as the general evaluator. My specific purpose is to highlight what the evaluators themselves did to evaluate the evaluators. One thing that we look for in evaluations is that they leave the speaker who's being evaluated encouraged, but given some specific thing that he could do either differently or better to make his talk more effective. Emery's evaluation, he used points in the manual. He offered some praise for what Fraser had done well. He had a specific suggestion, in fact, a couple of very specific suggestions about what Fraser could do differently. So that now what Fraser has is he has an idea of what he did well and an idea from an experienced speaker of what could have been done better or differently. As an evaluator, it's not really particularly helpful to say you should have been more powerful in closing your speech. That isn't as nearly as effective as saying if you'd closed your speech by doing this and then demonstrate what it is that you have in mind to be done differently, then the person being evaluated has a much more concrete idea of what could be done differently. Dennis also used the manual. He went through the points of the manual in discussing Marko's talk. He had a specific suggestion: use a larger number of sources. And for this particular project, using a larger number of sources was a key point, and he brought that out. That would have been an improvement in the match between the talk you gave and the criteria of the project. He actually, by my count, went through at least 5 of the points in the manual as he was evaluating Marko's talk. And I would be surprised if Marko isn't encouraged by the praise that he got for what he did well. Your fluidity, your confidence in what you're saying, and the humor with which you delivered this very detailed personal story. Will, he had a challenging evaluation to do. He had 5 people. He was able to come up with something to praise about each one of the speakers. He was able to recap the points that the speaker made, and he had a suggestion for almost everybody. A suggestion from Marko, one for Emery. He asked for more from Zoe. He had no suggestion in a couple of cases, but he was encouraging. He was encouraging, and he was specific where he could be. These were all really useful evaluations. Now, according to my agenda, it's my turn to turn the lectern. Pardon me. I'm due to call for reports from our role players, and Susanna has 2 roles. Are you ready to report, Susanna?
I believe so.
Okay, could you give us our timers report first?
Fraser spoke for 6 minutes and 53 seconds. Marko, 7 minutes and 18 seconds. And then in the table topics group, Santoria, 1 minute and 17 seconds. Marko, 1 minute and 20 seconds. Emery, 1 minute and 58 seconds. Zoe, 1 minute and 26 seconds. David, 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Angela, 1 minute and 4 seconds. The evaluators, Emery, 3 minutes and 26 seconds. Dennis, 3 minutes and 28 seconds. Will, 3 minutes and 54 seconds. But Will had more time, so that was well within the time. And then Art, 3 minutes and 33 seconds, which is also within the time.
Thank you. Did we assign a grammarian this evening?
No.
I didn't think so. Are you ready with the all-counters report?
Yes.
Thank you.
Rick was clean as far as I could tell. It could be I was too busy figuring out how to get.
Saved by technology.
Yes. Emery had 7 uhs or ahs, 1 1 so. Fraser had 1 and 3 false starts. Art had 2 so's, which could have been justifiable, but seemed a little gratuitous. Otherwise clean. Centauria, 1 2 I means. Marko, 1 2 ands. Dennis, 2 uhs, 1 Zoe, 4 uhs, 2 ums, 1 like, 1 you know, and 2 so's. David, 1 and 1 Angela, 2 uhs or ahs, 2 ums, and 1 extra and. Will, one so. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's time for the Toastmasters report. And I will fill in. This is a St. Peter and the Pearly Gates story. So St. Peter has to be prepared every day for the day's influx of new candidates for heaven. And on this particular day, it was a large crowd. And he had to get out a bullhorn to speak to this large crowd and get a little bit of crowd control. All right, all you women, please stand in a line over here to my right. Now you men, I need you to divide into two sections. In the middle, in front of me, I would like all of the men who are henpecked husbands to line up. Over here to my left, I would like the men who are not henpecked to line up. Henpecked is American slang, so we'll have to explain to anyone who doesn't know later on. So the crowd begins to organize itself as St. Peter is directed, and all the women line up over here, and all the men line up in the middle except for this one fellow standing over here. You, sir, you're standing by yourself. Why are you standing over there and not with all these other men? The man calls back up to St. Peter. He says, St. Peter, she told me to stand over here. Now I'd like to welcome back up to St. Peter.
Very good for standing.
And now for the most exciting, dramatic part of the meeting, the bestowing of awards. First of all, do we all know how to do a drum roll? Let's practice. Everybody do a drum roll. Stop, that's pretty bad. Maybe you can do better during the actual presentation. So let's start off with, I'm going to do this in a little different order. Best Speaker. Best Speaker awarded, Marko. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's your ribbon for Best Speaker. And here's your ribbon for Project 7.
Thank you.
How to research, and we'll just
Take a picture.
take a picture.
St. Peter.
Good, thank you. Our best evaluator, Emery. Congratulations.
Photo op.
Photo op. We're driven by the media. And best table topics, David, a guest. Congratulations. Here's a ribbon for you.
And eternal fame.
Eternal fame.
Perhaps an explanation is in order. These pictures, or at least the ones that turn out well, get posted at our Facebook group, Golden Speakers Toastmasters Fairfield.
Thank you. Fraser, would you step up here? Congratulations on giving your second speech. A picture.
All right.
No picture, okay, thank you, Fraser.
No eternal fame for you.
Yeah, you'll have to live quiet, anonymously. I was thinking about that word. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'd especially like to thank all our guests. We appreciate guests coming. And once again, I'll put you on the spot. Dave, if you could tell us one thing you liked about this Toastmasters meeting.
I like the sense of community, and I like seeing people get together to learn, improve, and explore.
Thank you. One thing, one comment?
I will pass.
Or pass? Okay. And Zoe, would you like to say one thing you liked about Toastmasters?
I just love to see people help each other grow.
Good. That's one of the goals of the club, is the mission of the club. Angelica, do you have anything for us?
I think it's very useful in order to learn how to speak to people, like how to interact with people, how to time yourself. It's very good.
Good. Thank you. It's fun. Good, I think. Toastmasters is fun. So thank you all for coming, and thank you especially our guests. The guests want to come back again as a guest, you're more than welcome. Welcome back at any time. If any of you are interested in joining Toastmasters, please come see me or see Emery after the meeting. And is there any other business? If not, yes,
I just want to say happy belated birthday to
to Art.
Art.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Art. Happy birthday to you. Yay, Art.
I'm 40 years old today.
Don't let the day over 39.
Celebrating it for the 31st time.
Any other birthdays we want to celebrate? If not, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.